Words of our Divine Mother from the book The Mother, from the collective works of our Divine Mother, Volume 11, Notes on the Way, page 75, topic The Good and the Truth, realization of the supreme vision in the mixed material world. Man's vision is incomplete. August 1967, our Divine Mother begins by commenting upon a question written by a disciple. Sweet Mother, it is said that always the good and the true triumph, but we see that often in life, especially in the current world, it is otherwise. The wicked win, seem somehow to be protected from suffering. For this, our Divine Mother laughs and then remains silent. And then our Divine Mother says, people always confuse two ideas. It is from the universal and spiritual point of view that not positively the good as men understand it, but the truth will have the last word. It goes without saying. That is to say, finally the divine will be victorious. This is what is said. What all who have lived a spiritual life have said, it is an absolute fact. Men, in translating it, say, I am a good boy. I live in accordance with what I think to be true. Therefore, all existence should be good for me. And then our Divine Mother laughs. And then our Divine Mother says, first of all, one's own appreciation of oneself is always doubtful, and then, in the world as it is now, all is mixed. It is not the law of truth that openly manifests itself to the half-blind human consciousness. It will not even understand it. I mean, to be more exact, that it is the supreme vision that is realizing itself constantly, but its realization in the mixed material world does not appear to the ignorant human sight as the triumph of the good, what men call good and true. But to say it in a joking way, it is not the fault of the Lord, it is the fault of men. That is to say, the Lord knows what He is doing and men do not understand it. Next question, Sweet Mother, in a world of truth, all would be just as it is now, perhaps, but it would be seen differently. For this, our Divine Mother says both. There would be a difference. It is the present ignorance and obscurity in the world that give a deforming appearance to the divine action, and that naturally must tend to disappear. But it is also true that there is a way of seeing things which one might say which gives another meaning to their appearances. The two are there like this, and then our Divine Mother gives a gesture of intermixture, and then there is a silence. And then our Divine Mother says, you always come back to this, that man's judgment is wrong. Wrong because his vision of things is wrong, is incomplete, and necessarily this judgment must have wrong results. The world is perpetually changing, perpetually, not for a second is it like itself, and the general harmony expresses itself more and more perfectly. Therefore, nothing can remain as it is, and in spite of all appearances to the contrary, the whole is always constantly progressing. The harmony is becoming more and more harmonious, the truth becoming more and more true in the manifestation. And our Divine Mother says, but to see that, one must see the whole, and man sees only, not even the human domain, but only his personal domain, quite small, microscopic, he cannot understand. And then our Divine Mother says, it is a double thing that is going on, completing itself. Our Divine Mother gives a gesture of intermixture, and then she says, and with a mutual action, as the manifestation becomes more conscious of itself, its expression perfects itself, becomes also more true. The two movements go together. And then there is a silence again. And then our Divine Mother says, it was one of the things that was seen very clearly the other day when there was this consciousness of knowledge, when the manifestation will have sufficiently emerged out of the inconscient, so that all this necessity of struggle created by the presence of the inconscient becomes progressively more and more useless. It will disappear quite naturally, and progress, instead of being made through effort and struggle, will begin to be made harmoniously. That is what the human consciousness foresees as a divine creation upon earth. It is still be only one step, but for the present step, it is a kind of harmonious attainment that will change the universal progress, which is ceaseless, into a progress through joy and harmony instead of a progress through struggle and suffering. But what was seen is that this feeling of insufficiency, of something that is not complete and is not perfect, that one must foresee, will exist for a very long time if the notion of time remains the same, that I do not know. But all change implies time, does it not? It may not be translated by time as we conceive it, but it does imply a succession. All these so-called problems, says our Divine Mother, all these so-called problems, all the while one receives in this way questions and problems of the mind, all problems in the ignorance. Is it not so? Problems for the earth. As soon as you emerge up there, such problems do not exist anymore. There are no more contradictions. Contradictions always come from the inadequacy of vision and the incapacity to see a thing from all points of view at the same time. And then our Divine Mother says, in any case, to bring the question down to earth, no sage at any time, I think, has ever said, be good and all will go well with you externally, because it is a stupidity. In a world of disorder, in a world of falsehood, to hope for that is not reasonable. But you can have, if you are sufficiently sincere and whole and entire in your way of being, you can have the inner joy, the full satisfaction, whatever the circumstances external, and that nobody and nothing has the power to touch. These are the words of our Divine Mother.